Welcome to Sci-Fi Frontier. I'm Dominic, and I'm here with,
Wally.
and we're going to be talking about Star Trek Picard, episodes 2 and 3.
The infamous 2 and 3.
Infamous 2 and 3. So I'll let you start. What do you think of these last two episodes?
Well, you're really starting to see a story starting to unfold. Episode 2 was a little slow. You know, we were discussing before we started this. There's some things that we kind of mutually agree on that we don't like about it. You know, for reasons we'll get into as we're going along here. But, you know, as we're going, you know, it's starting to unfold a story that's it's taking a little bit more time, I guess, than, you know, it's only a 10 episode first season. It seems like it's taking a long time to get going, but by the third episode, you're really kind of starting to see what's unfolding here. So I'm not unhappy with it. It's just a lot. There's a lot of slow goings.
Yeah.
So that would be my only major gripe, I guess, if I had to give it any kind of a bad review. But you know, we still haven't seen a lot of the old bridge crew. You know, we haven't seen Riker or Counselor Troy or 7 of 9 yet. After 3 episodes, I know they will show up. They've been in the trailers, so you know they've got to be in there. So it's just a matter of what episode and when, right? So, but yeah, I would like to see that as it's coming along. Whether they're in there for even if it's just for a tie over kind of thing. Yeah. You know, just to acknowledge that some of them are still around. Like it's kind of nice to see where everybody is, and then find out if, you know, what everybody's future got held from for the last 20 years, right? So, so I'm not unhappy with it. I've been enjoying it so far. The third episode was still slow, but it was a little bit faster than episode 2, and it revealed a lot more.
Yeah. So just to throw it out there for anyone who hasn't watched either one of these episodes, we're going to be talking about spoilers.
Yes. So if you haven't watched these episodes, fair warning, turn this podcast off now.
So episodes 2 and 3, it was a little bit slow, but you're starting to see the story move forward.
Yes.
And I'm really curious as where this is going with the synthetics and the Romulans, and who is this. And we're starting to learn about you got this secret group inside of a secret group. You have like the Tal Shiar, but then you have this other group
inside
even more secret than the Tal Shiar.
Inside of the Tal Shiar, like the secret police of the secret police.
Yeah, the secret police of the secret police.
The redundancy of Romulan espionage not corporations, but you know, syndicates and whatnot, right?
So, so to see where they're going to go with that. Still, so far, I'm enjoying the show. Now, but there's been a few with these last couple episodes, though. There was a few things that irritated me.
Absolutely. So let's get on with what we're going to start spoiling things for. Last warning. Here we go.
Okay. So the first thing that kind of, well, it didn't annoy me but it wasn't like a thing that annoyed me, but it threw me off is when he went and found that girl. And
now, which girl are you talking about?
The one that he needed her help to get a ship. What was that?
Oh, Raffi.
Raffi. So when the guy says to him, "Oh, you need someone. What about Riker? What about Geordi?" And he says, "Oh, they would do it in a moment's notice, but you know."
That's why I can't. Yeah, that's why I can't ask them.
But
right? Because
he goes, "Oh, well, you need someone that doesn't like you. Got nothing to lose." Well, and so anyway, he goes, "Oh, the call's already been made."
Right.
And then he goes and, like, I was expecting a character we would have known. That's what it kind of made it. That's what it seemed like it was building up to. But then I was like, when she showed up, I was like, "What? Who's this?"
Well,
and
that's
even my girlfriend who was watching it with me, she asked me the same thing, like, "Who's that?" Expecting I would know. I was like, I have no idea who that is. I don't know.
Well, again, the same. Everybody just keeps thinking this is picking up like right after the last movie. There is a 20-year gap.
Yeah, I realize that.
Okay, so right off the bat, we're not going to recognize everybody.
No.
You just have to accept that there's things that have happened between the end of Nemesis and the beginning of Picard that we do not know about, that will get explained through future episodes, through the comic book series, if they're going to do them that way, which I think they are, because I know there's some independent books of Admiral Picard.
Mhm.
So between his being removed from captain of the Enterprise E to his admiral rank to this whole production or not production. What's the word I'm looking for?
The overall,
working on the whole project to try and help the Romulans, right?
Yeah.
The evacuations, or help them resettle, or whatever you have. And you're just going to have to wait and let some of that explain. Yes, there's just some things that are just going to have to. You're just going to have to wait and let the characters develop to get an appreciation for them, and then you'll find out their back history. You found a little bit out of that with Raffi in episode 3 when we get into that. So.
Yeah, in episode 3. So that threw me off. I was like, because they kind of set up like it was going to be someone you would have known, but I didn't know who it was.
I didn't read it into doing that way. So
that's how it came off to me, and then it was like threw me off. I was like, okay, like who is this character? Like I don't know who this is, and so there was that. Like I thought that could have been, I don't know, thought out better or done better. I don't know, something. So there was that. Now in episode 3, when they go to explain in a flashback how she became on non-speaking terms with Picard, there was something in that scene that just drove me nuts.
Yes,
it's
the same.
jail.
It's the same thing. Yeah, same thing with me. I don't. I don't understand that. If she seemed to be a lieutenant commander rank to me.
She did seem.
He was an admiral.
He was an admiral, and then
they're both commissioned officers. They should both be
talking to each other like commissioned officers.
Exactly. Like, yeah, okay, everybody can have friends, and yeah, so can admiral have a friend with, a lower ranked officers. I have no problem with that, but I don't know. JL just seems a little too familiar.
Yeah, a little too casual, and it just doesn't fit. Like it feels forced. It's like they're trying to make the character, trying to make the language hip or something. I don't know. To me, it didn't work.
No, that's a little bit questionable. But I mean, they can work that out. Like that can be alienated, right? So,
hopefully, they just phase that out. Like she just stops calling them that.
Yeah, that would make more sense.
That would make more sense. So there was that,
but it's still done.
Yeah, so. It's still done. And the other thing that I thought was like weird is the Vulcan girl that the Commodore wearing the sunglasses.
That
I was like, who decided that? Like, well, first of all, Vulcans don't need sunglasses because they have an eyelid that was established. No. So they don't go blind from bright lights. So they don't even need the sunglasses. So, and it just is completely off-putting from the uniform.
Your argument's kind of moot to me. That really doesn't bother me. Poker players don't need sunglasses in a poker room in a tournament. They wear them because they don't want to see. They want people reading their expressions.
Yeah.
Now, could the same thing be said of her at the same point? Maybe she's not using it to.
I don't know.
To block the sun. Maybe she's just trying not to give out. She's just trying to give more of an ominous feel to.
Maybe, but she's a Vulcan. She's have control, a lot more control over their emotions than a human. They've got a good poker face.
Yeah, that can
I found it like a weird, creative choice to have her wear sunglasses. And they didn't even look like anything you would see in Star. They just looked like they just grabbed a pair of sunglasses out of a gas station somewhere and threw her on her face. Like it was really weird.
Yeah.
So those are some of the nitpicks I had with the episode.
That's too nitpicky for me. I can accept this pair of sunglasses. If she was wearing them all the time, if she was in her office wearing them, talking on a communicator, that'd be one thing. But she was out in the open, out in the sun.
I don't know. I thought it was flat out stupid. That whole choice to have her wear sunglasses.
It's not something that they're going to revisit. So it's really neither here nor there. If that's one of your biggest arguments, I'm going to kibosh that. I think it's so if it bothers you, fine. But it's really inconsequential. It really doesn't mean anything in the long run.
No, but like all these like little things, will stack up over time.
If they're not addressed, I can appreciate that. Yeah, there's
that's
other things that we've talked about too. The swearing.
Yeah, the swearing. Yeah, we can talk about that swearing.
Okay. We did have a little discussion about this after the fact too, but if you go back into past episodes of original Star Trek, Next Generation, there are hints of swearing. They still swore in the 20th century, 24th century,
Mm-hmm.
but because it was syndicated TV back in the 90s, the 80s, 90s, it wasn't allowed there, but they kept hinting at it. So it's not gone. It's just
It's not used.
It's not used. It's not commonplace anymore. But they nowadays, this type of TV syndication can let that kind of thing go. Does it fit?
No, it doesn't.
No,
fit.
it doesn't.
The F-bombs don't fit.
Yeah, especially the F-bomb with the Admiral that Picard went to see, just dropping that flat out right off the bat. That did not work. Like,
no, it didn't work.
I can understand her being upset, but not dropping an F-bomb. That, this is again another thing that you and I talked about off air here. Starfleet is a military organization, essentially a navy.
Yeah, they're in the navy.
But if you go and you interact with any naval officers, army officers, Marines, anything like that in the world today, they don't swear when they're on duty.
Yeah,
they don't sit there. They don't talk casually when they're on duty in a formation or anything like that. When they're being spoken to by higher ranks or what have you, they just don't do that. After hours. When they're not, that's a different story. But it's not a commonplace thing, and the situation that Jean-Luc is in, talking with the Admiral, he's a civilian now, not a Starfleet officer. I can accept it. It just still doesn't feel like it fits, but I can accept it.
Yeah.
So, and my perfect example is season 4 episode, I believe it's 2. In the Next Generation is called Family. When Jean-Luc goes back to the vineyard to meet his brother and his new wife and his nephew, and he meets his nephew, and he's talking to him, and the nephew says to him, "You don't seem like an arrogant son of a," and then let's just leave it at that, shall we? The hints are there, so
the hints are there.
It's there. So
if
yes, it doesn't fit nowadays with the way that this should be going.
Yeah,
but as long as they're not dropping F-bombs every 5 or 6 minutes,
if they're just
5 or 6 seconds for that matter, I can deal with it.
I hope this is something like the writers take note of and just cut the cursing out.
I hope so, but we'll see. Like I doubt very much that any of those writers are going to listen to our podcast. But it'd be nice to know.
But the thing about when Data cursed in that movie, it had such impact because you never hear it in Star Trek.
Well, that's the thing too.
Shit, like you never hear that in Star Trek. So
you're right.
So that was a lot more impactful.
But now anybody who's going to come back and question us about this in the comments field, Data swore. He had his emotion chips. It was new to him. That was a new sensation. Has anybody ever gone down in a plane and not swore? So I mean, of course somebody's going to swear. So I mean, it's just something they don't focus on. Like how many ships did we see? How many times did we see an Enterprise crash land on a planet? Once. No, we saw it once. The Enterprise A was self-destructed in orbit, and they beamed off, so they didn't crash land. They just watched it. It was, oh my, what have I done? It just that was what Kirk said. The only one you saw crash was the Enterprise D.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the Enterprise D. So now, my last thing that I thought was stupid about Episode 3 is the captain of that ship where he gets a ship, all of his holograms look like him. I was like, what is this? And they all have different accents. They look like him, but they have different accents. Like, why would you have your holograms look exactly like you?
So you can differentiate between the two of them. So if they're all designed to wear the same clothing, at least you can tell by their accents which one is activated.
Yeah, so. Like it just seems like an odd creative choice. Why you would do that? Like, because now you waste the opportunity to actually have a new character with a different actor. Like
I'm just
Doctor
wondering
from Voyager.
I'm just wondering if that's going to be a a way of developing the character of Captain Rios.
Maybe
because he's a single single captain on his ship, and he doesn't have a crew, and maybe the only reason he wants that like that is because he's the only one he can trust.
Mm-hmm.
So could that be a reason? Could that be a development reason that
Maybe
he's keeping? Because I mean, in Star Trek, it should be easy to change the look of a hologram.
Oh, it should totally be easy. Yeah,
very easy. So again, I think that's just going to be something to just that'll develop out with him as shows go along, depending on how well he's received by the audience.
Yeah.
So that would be my take. So, but again, I noticed it too. Like it's hard not to notice that stuff. So.
Okay, so now let's get into stuff we liked.
Okay.
So, so some of the stuff that I really like. One thing about I'll get into some minor things I like, but one thing I liked is in that flashback scene with Picard and that officer,
Raffi. Yep. You will get her name.
I'll get her name eventually. One thing I really liked was those were really cool uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
Like cooler than the uniforms they're wearing in the present of the show. I think they're better looking uniforms.
They were very interesting looking. I was with you on that one. There's a lot of hints of every time that they were in the future in the next generation, you saw little hints of comm badges were different and rank pins were different, and you're starting to see a little bit of that in this 20 years later kind of aspect. The comm badges are a little more reminiscent of the stuff that they saw in the future from the Enterprise when they were doing their things. But I did like the design of the uniforms. The nice thing was they didn't change them so drastically.
No, they didn't.
That they don't fit. I personally for me, I like those black and black jumpsuits with the like I guess you'd call them like a utility uniform with the colored shoulders. I like that. I didn't mind it at all. I liked it in Nemesis and the Insurrections. First Contact, when they started to change them around a little bit, like they were the next evolution from the Voyager jumpsuits.
Yeah, they were. Yeah,
which again I didn't mind those, but the gray shoulders and the colored shirt and then the black jumpsuit, that was more interesting.
Yeah, those were really good uniforms.
And nothing against the original Next Generation uniforms, but when it was just the jacket and the pants. And then you're constantly watching Jean-Luc when he stands up, pull his jacket down around. Like that's exactly why they changed it, because that's annoying. I have a Starfleet uniform like that. I like that uniform, but I do the same thing. I keep pulling it down when I'm wearing it.
Yeah,
it drives me nuts. But I would like to have. I wouldn't mind to have a jumpsuit of the original ones. But and anybody who knows who I am knows me from my pictures and the times I've worn it out for Halloween and whatnot, so I go pretty authentic with my looks. So
now another thing I liked is they brought back Hugh.
Yes, that was
cool to see.
It was a cool thing to see. Now again, we saw him in the trailers, so we knew he was going to show up.
Yeah,
I don't think I was expecting to see him working with the Romulans.
Yeah, that was interesting to see.
That was an interesting aspect because he did kind of. Hint when he was speaking with Daj's sister there, that he kind of admired the Romulans.
Yeah,
because I can't remember the exact terminology he used. It was a few days since I watched it, but it almost seemed like he was very taken with the Romulan way of life, and then maybe that's why he's on this reclamation cube, helping them to reclaim Romulan simulated officers they had 8 or 15 of them in that cell. They're not quite reclaimed, but they're
pretty messed up, but they're still
still in it. So, but it was interesting. So I think you could probably see Hugh being a staple character in this whole thing, possibly even 7 of 9 once we see her. We'll see. I figure it's probably still going to be a couple of episodes before we see what's going on yet.
And the other thing I really liked is we got to talk about the flashback on Mars where the synths go crazy.
Yes, that was also very interesting because I was wondering how long it was going to be before we had to see what actually happened.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, all we saw was them break down, but why?
Yeah, you could tell when you looked at something hacked them.
Yeah, there's definitely something. Yeah, there's definitely something. So, and this whole cover-up thing is definitely, and this, Raffi also spoke with Picard about this after the fact. That she had concrete evidence that there's a cover-up on something, and high up ends of Starfleet was, they're trying to sweep this kind of thing under the rug.
Yeah.
So why are they trying to sweep the idea of data under?
Yeah. Why are they? Yeah.
Like I'm almost wondering if there's a Romulan Borg kind of cooperation. Cooperation is not the right thing. Like maybe not the right terminology again, but you've got so much of the Borg in this right now with reclaiming old people.
There seems to be some kind of there seems to be like the Romulans or the Romulans that are in the secret group, that they seem to have some other motive on that cube than the one they're letting everyone else talk about.
Yes, well, again,
it's like they're trying to, like, it's almost like they're saying they're trying to contact the nest. The abomination, like they kept calling it like the abomination. And
yeah.
So now are they?
I wonder if it could be like a Romulan plot to try and control the collective.
Yeah, control the collective or wipe out the collective. Because remember, this group hates AI.
That's true. That is true. That is a possible. That's a possible story arc, I suppose. I don't know if that's the way it would go. For a group that hates AI, I don't see the Borg as an AI like that because it's a
they're a collective of minds. They're organic mixed
with synthetic.
Yeah, where
data and the synthetics are
purely synthetic.
Yeah, exactly. So now that was also a thing with the Borg in First Contact. They couldn't quite assimilate data, but they tried. Right?
They tried.
This went right down to the Queen to try and do this.
Yeah.
So they obviously know that data's been destroyed. Is there more to maybe the Borg have control of some Romulans to try and make sure that the Federation doesn't continue on with the production of synthetics?
Yeah.
Maybe that's the reason why. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Yeah.
We have 3 episodes is not enough to tell the stories. So everybody that's been watching it has been saying, yeah, it's incredibly slow and they don't like it. But I'm not unhappy with it. I'm not either. It's enough to keep me wanting to see what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, it's definitely got me on board to see where they're going with this storyline. Like, I'm really curious to see how this is going to unfold.
Absolutely.
And things like that. And the other thing I liked about this episode was when they finally get their ship. And that's actually like a cool looking ship. I like that ship design.
It's not a Starfleet design.
No, it's not a Starfleet design at all.
No,
it's like some kind of an independent.
It does vessel. Seem like that, but whose independent vessel is it? It's not like Earth is just in production of making small ship freighters, like that type of ship, right? So you'd think that the only place that they could really build them would be the shipyards.
Yeah.
Now, if they're Starfleet controlled, okay, but I suppose there could be independent contractors with
probably independent contractors, yeah, or maybe even like from another alien race bought ship from.
Possible. Maybe I don't know if they're really going to delve into that for a.
No, but it's just I thought it was a cool looking ship. The design of the ship was pretty nice.
It definitely wasn't focused on like it was in, say, like First Contact, first saw the Enterprise E. After D had been destroyed. At least in same thing in Encounter at Farpoint and Next Generation. Tasha and the shuttle with Picard. Have you ever been on board a Galaxy class starship? I haven't. You're in for a treat. There she is, and then you're just seeing the ship just through the windows, and then just kind of the pan around it and then flying underneath it. And,
Yeah.
that gave it a real kind of interesting tour of it, right?
Yeah.
And you really didn't get that with this because the ship doesn't strike me that this is going to be a permanent vessel.
You don't think?
No, I don't think so. Like maybe this Captain Rios guy doesn't hold true, or maybe he gets killed before
Yeah,
the
we
end of
don't
the
know.
first. We don't know what's going to happen. So what if that happens? Then he's going to have to get onto another ship, and how long is it going to be before he gets onto a Federation vessel?
Mm-hmm.
So I've got a theory that Riker is not on a planet. And he's retired from Starfleet either. Maybe he's still captain of the Titan, and maybe what you saw in the trailers was him and Deanna in the holodeck.
Yeah.
Could that be? I don't know.
Yeah.
Once we get to that episode, we'll find out. I'm probably wrong, but I would kind of like to see the Titan. But the Titan will also be 20 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So the Luna class ships are probably going to be
getting close to being retired
or whatever. Maybe he got transferred to another one. Maybe he became an admiral and he's got his own new ship.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he has the new Enterprise. Who knows?
Well, that brings up the question: is there a chance we could see the Enterprise in this show? And would it be a new Enterprise? Like not a. The last one was a Sovereign class.
Sovereign class, yep. But I don't know what's happened in the last 20 years. I mean,
So could there be a new?
Could there be a new Enterprise? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Could the Sovereign class still be in commission? Sure.
Mm-hmm.
But who's going to be the captain, or if it's under the control of an admiral?
Yeah.
Whatever, right? But the Sovereign class was kind of designed to fight the Borg.
It was designed to fight the Borg.
So it's just more of a heavy defiant class, I guess we should.
Mm-hmm.
You can kind of specify it as, I suppose. But,
yeah.
But even if you just see it through the windows of a ship that Picard is on, maybe you still see it.
Yeah.
That's all you're going to see is maybe you're not going to get to be on board, but maybe you'll get to see it.
Yeah.
Who knows?
And now another thing we talked about this before the recording too, is this is the first time since the original series that there has been a Commodore in the show.
That's true.
Which I kind of like that, because I always wondered that, what happened to all the Commodores? Like, you didn't see him no more after the original series.
Yeah, that's part of the Navy rank as a Commodore.
Mm-hmm.
So that should be like, I don't know, one step below.
My understanding, it's like a desk officer rank or something, Commodore.
Yeah,
like it's not like a field.
It's not a field thing. They're like overall overseeing operations.
Yeah,
giving orders to their admirals, and the admirals assigning captains, and captains carrying out the missions. Right. So that would stand to reason. So a Commodore rank, maybe that's why you haven't seen any, because you don't need to see them.
Yeah.
Commodores give admirals orders to give to captains, so why do you need to see the Commodore give the admiral an order to have the admiral give the order to a captain?
Because I'm just thinking back to the episode from the original series, Deadly Years. There's a Commodore in that, and then Kirk and Spock and all them got affected where they're aging rapidly with that disease. And then the Commodore takes control. He takes command. And then Spock tells him, well, you can't take command. You've never, ever commanded a starship before. And then Kirk finds out and freaks. He goes, what? He's a Commodore. He's a pencil pusher. He said he doesn't know anything about commanding a starship.
Well, I'll have to defer to you on that one. That's not my forte, unfortunately, original Star Trek. Again, I keep telling this to everybody. I have tried to watch it. I just can't wrap my head around it. I picked it up from Next Generation on. I loved it since then, not since the original series, but I have my appreciation for it. So.
So now back to Picard. So yeah, I think they were. Now the episodes are a little bit slow. They're taking their time unfolding the storyline, but I think overall, I'm curious to see where it goes.
Yep. Yeah. They definitely have to set up a story first. That's the way TV has to be written now. You have to give it you have to give it more than 2 episodes to say whether or not it's going to be good, bad, or otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you watch the first episode and then you don't like it, okay, that's fine. That's your opinion, but you really don't know what's going on. So
Yeah.
at least when we keep going back to Discovery, I'm going to do this again. I watched at least the first 6 episodes of Discovery before I gave up on it.
Yeah, and I watched the first season and the first 3 episodes of season 2, and then I gave up on it.
Yeah, it just wasn't working for me, and the story wasn't compelling enough, and nothing about that show fit for me.
No,
So,
same here.
Just because it's got the Star Trek logo on it doesn't mean that it's Trek to me. So,
now the other thing, now this is related to Star Trek, but it's not directly related to Picard, but it's something I wanted to talk about. Is now, did you hear this news? It's a rumor that's going around that NBC wanted to buy it. Well, NBC Universal wanted to buy the Star Trek franchise from Paramount, and the person they wanted to run it was Seth MacFarlane, the guy who does the Orville. Did you hear that?
I personally never heard that. I know that Seth MacFarlane, before he started the Orville, had an interest in writing for Star Trek.
Yeah,
I knew that.
Mm-hmm.
But what he wanted to do is what he turned the Orville into.
Yes,
so
the Orville was his pitch for a Star Trek show.
Yeah. Could I have seen him in a Starfleet uniform acting like that? No, I don't.
Now, would they have
so.
dialed back the comedy part though?
Well,
if it was a Star Trek show,
I'm the wrong guy to ask that. Based on Seth MacFarlane, I can't see him doing that because that's what he was. He wanted to focus it on a troubled captain. And for me in Star Trek, a troubled captain would not be in a captain's chair for that long. Especially, divorcee, having his ex-wife as his first officer. It works with the Orville. I don't think it could have worked with Star Trek. Star Trek is more serious than.
Now, do you think he would do a better job overseeing Star Trek though, as like a producer?
Yes.
Than what people are doing now.
Well, I don't know what his background is with Star Trek, but he seems.
Well, I know he's done.
He's more nerdy guy, so I would assume that his Star Trek background is a little bit better than some of the people that are currently working on Star Trek projects right now. Yeah, I think he could do. I think he can be a serious enough writer, but when he's acting, I think he's looking for that more of that comedy aspect. But if he's a writer, yeah, I think he could come up with more.
Because he has done like guest appearances on past Star Trek shows.
He has.
Yeah, he's been on Enterprise, and I think he's popped up a few other times.
Yeah, he probably has. I'd have to go back into his filmography on Internet Movie Database, but yeah, I could see him being. I actually wouldn't mind seeing him credited with some independent episode writings of a Star Trek episodes, even if it was Picard.
Yeah, even if it was Picard. So yeah, but as far as I know, that's just pure rumor. I think that's not actual.
Probably is.
So, but that's kind of floating around the internet. But it was kind of interesting to bring it up anyway. So, anything else you want to say about the episodes 2 and 3, or?
Well, again, we didn't really focus very much on 2. A lot of what we talked about was episode 3.
Yeah, because I found like there was kind of like more happened in 3.
Well, you're right, and we kind of really just jumped at the tail end of 2 when he started to meet Raffi, which is really kind of where he's going to have to start introducing the bridge, not his bridge crew, but his crew that he's going to be theoretically continuing on the series with. Yeah. Now, yeah, there's a little bit of background. You're finding out a little bit about his Romulan help and whatnot, but it's okay. Every Star Trek show has their slow episodes, but again, we're starting off a series. They're trying to set the tone for a story that they're going to tell. Yeah. So yeah, okay, a slow episode can still be a good episode, but it was dry, but you know, we found out a lot more in episode 3.
So how does this series, do you think, like, well, so far does it compare to the Next Generation?
Oh, Next Generation is still way better. There's
no comparison.
There's no comparison. But you're comparing apples and oranges again. You're talking about a Next Generation 20 years ago, 25 plus years ago, that were, you know, it was a federation that was being run the way
it should be
run, and that's something that's what Picard said in the first episode. He quit because it was no longer Starfleet, and that's what this is going to be about. This is his fall from grace from Starfleet, and maybe this is what he's going to do, is try and fix this and put Starfleet back. You know, find out what's, you know, the secret infiltration of the Romulan Empire into this hierarchy of Starfleet Command. You know, if they bring that out into the light, you know, he can start to bring order back. His commission will get reinstated. He'll be an admiral again. And maybe it'll be Commodore Picard.
Yeah.
So maybe he'll be the head of Starfleet security after that, or you know, maybe the president of the Federation. Who knows? But, but there was also the talk of him still being sick from the hint from All Good Things. Remember Q gave him that hint of that syndrome that he gets. What was the name of it now? I forget.
Yeah, that. I'll be honest, that kind of went over my head. I really.
Oh, you didn't piece that one together?
I didn't piece that one together.
No, that was that's exactly what that was. A good friend. No, that was, I don't know if that was referencing Q, but you also didn't notice the 5Q hand of Queens that Data had when he revealed his hand. You didn't think about that either. So, but they also, you know, they mentioned the Q continuum, you know, in a third episode. So, are we going to? Because possible we could see a Q.
Yeah.
Could we see John Delancey return as Q?
Yeah, I would like to see it.
I would love to see that. I would love to see that too. 20 years older Q. See where it sits. That would be very interesting to me.
That would be.
So, but yeah, there's still lots of directions they could go about this. Dropping the names Worf, Riker, LaForge. Are we going to? Can we see them? LaForge could be a captain.
Oh,
he should be, based on you know, episodes we've seen in Voyager in the future. And absolutely, why not?
Yeah, why not? Well, I guess that's pretty much all we can say.
Well, for the time being, we're gonna probably keep doing these at 2 episodes.
I think it's 2 episodes.
Just so that we can try and make it a little bit more broad and give it a little bit more. If you know, we have a weaker episode, just like we did with episode 2, and we can have something to fall back on and try.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably what we're going to do. So we're going to be a little bit behind, but we will be reviewing episodes 4 and 5 here in the next 2 weeks. So stay tuned.
Yeah. So that's everything we got to say in this video. Let us know what you think in the comments section, and we will see you at the next one. Thank you to all of my subscribers, and thank you for watching this video. And if you're new to the channel, like, subscribe, and share. And don't forget to hit the bell icon for notification when new videos are uploaded.